going back to, I think we talked about this last week, which was the Joe Rogan interview with Dr. Robert Malone. And Malone. And as y'all would expect, because Robert Malone getting kicked off Twitter and then the interview itself getting deleted. Apparently, 200 and... Say what?
I did not know about that.
What?
He got kicked off Twitter and
Robert Malone got banned off Twitter, and then
what did he say?
What he's pretty much said on the Joe Rogan podcast about the fact that hospitals are getting funding for COVID patients. That we talked about how about the vaccine, how there's some things people should be knowledgeable about when it comes to the vaccine.
Okay.
He just talked about basically, as some people like to say, vaccine hesitancy and COVID denying kind of stuff. Which
did you say like corporations were hunting doctors and stuff like that who had like a different opinion on the vaccine?
Something along those lines. Yeah, I can. It makes sense why you would say something like that. But just stuff like that, which obviously people on that side of the news don't like, or at least the tech oligarchy stuff don't like, and then 270 doctors and scientists signed open letter to Spotify calling for it to stop Joe Rogan from spreading anti-vax misinformation, quote, after he hosted virologists who called vaccination program a mass formation psychosis.
That's a lot of doctors, Gene.
That is a lot of doctors. You would think, right?
That's a lot of doctors.
That's almost all of them.
You know,
That's
let's read these bullet points and let's go to the hold on, Ian. So let's read these bullet points real quick. So controversial Dr. Robert Malone episode was posted on New Year's Eve 2021. Malone compared the U.S. to Nazi Germany and said public had been hypnotized. He said the public suffered from mass formation psychosis over vaccine use. Letters signed by 270 experts demand Spotify adopt a misinformation policy. Spotify signed a reported $100 million exclusivity deal with Joe Rogan's show last year. The controversial episode was removed from YouTube but remains on Spotify. Good for Spotify. Then almost a couple let me see how many days. So this was published on the 13th of January. Then not a couple days later, I'm sure we'll see here. Click it here, Ian. And this was the 19th, so 6 days later. And then a veterinarian, a dentist, and a podcast host, majority of the 270 doctors who signed letter demanding Spotify take action against Joe Rogan are not medical doctors.
Oh, it was like chiropractors and shit?
Well, I'll read it. So I'll read it.
Dr. J.
So
it was Dr. Pepper.
So 270 people signed the letter published January 10th that called on the streaming giant to adopt a misinformation policy. Only 87 of the 270 signatures are medical doctors. The rest are from assorted professions, including engineers, teachers, psychologists.
Love doctors.
Some of the other medical professionals represented include a veterinarian, a dentist, a social worker, and several psychologists. Some of the other members of the medical academic field featured include physician's assistants, a biochemist, and nearly 100 PhDs and PhD candidates. Spotify has yet to publicly address the letter on the controversial episode of Rogan's hit podcast. During the 3-hour and 6-minute interview on the non-viral episode number 1757 of the Joe Rogan Experience, the Dr. Robert Malone compared the U.S. to Nazi Germany, saying that. So I thought this was hilarious because they're advocating for misinformation, and then you have this doozy.
So what I would like is a point-by-point. I want them to identify what you said.
I did see the video, Ethan, but I haven't watched it yet.
Point by point. Like, I need to know what they're classifying as misinformation. And then...
a difference of opinion, pretty much. Like, I understand what you're trying to say, and
No, literally, I want them to put that. I want them to stand on what... I don't want it to say, I don't want them to generalize everything he said and say, that's misinformation.
Basically, that's what they're doing. Yeah.
I know, but I want them to tell me the points that are critical. They're like, no, that is incorrect. That is incorrect, because if they stand on it, then...
Sorry, I want to address what Ethan said. I got to pull it up, but Ethan's correct here. 17,000 or around there. Actual doctors sided with Malone, not the 27. So pretty much, like, they got 200 doctors to sign. Actual doctors, around 17,000 came out and supported what Dr. Robert Malone was saying. So it's kind of funny, the contrast going on there.
3 hours and 6 minutes, my boy. That nigga Joe, boy.
You know, I watched it all, too. It was an interesting discussion. It was interesting.
There by the time to go. 3 hours? Jesus Christ. But no, I mean, I'm just more interested to see what comes out of it.
What do you mean?
Like, what's proven to be, like, this is really not this, but them challenging him and taking him off of Twitter and all that stuff, they're gonna end up turning him into like a Dr. Sebi. Have you heard of him?
Yes, the herbalist.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're gonna end up pushing him towards that wave. So I just don't see.
And he's got some interesting takes too.
I believe it. I mean, I don't even care, to be honest with you, about like. I mean, I do care obviously about the topic. I'll probably go back and watch it, but it's wild to me that. I mean, but honestly speaking, is this really news? 270 crazy people decided to do something out of how many millions of people?
The only reason why it's news is because of the incredible distrust in mainstream media, and then the hypocrisy of labeling Joe Rogan as misinformation when you don't even check. Like, I feel like this is something you should check. Like, the first thing you do is verify that these signatures are doctors to make the outlandish claim that these 207, all of these are doctors. There's a consensus, or whatever that dumb freaking phrase is.
This podcast is sponsored by Angel Blinds, a local Atlanta, Georgia area small business. The blinds help you get a new look for your living room, your bedroom, your dining room, and they even have customizable blinds for your kids. You can put their favorite superhero or princesses on there. If you use our promo code FDT, our audience gets 10% off their first purchase. You're welcome. You can find them on their Facebook page at Angel Blinds or hit them up on Instagram at angels_blinds. Get at them. Cool. Bing bong.
I just think
man, like Joe has sometimes like mushroom specialists who talk about like the way mushrooms have come from space and they're possibly aliens and stuff like that. And you listen to it because you're like, oh, it's interesting. And then you go
fun conversations.
Yeah, and I mean, I think just because it's like the hot topic right now, people about this are freaking out. But I mean,
well, I think they're freaking out because, sorry to interrupt you, is because people have been shedding a lot of light on the fact that Joe Rogan gets a crazy amount of viewers in comparison to these major news networks. Like, he gets, 11 million views per episode, whereas I think CNN only gets like 1 million or something like that.
Oh, so you think it's the companies that are talking? Because I think like normal people would listen to it and either they get swayed in their opinions or they stay where they're at and they go, okay, cool, and they keep going about their lives. The same way I listen to the mushroom guys whenever they're on Joe or whatever, and sometimes like there's politicians and stuff like that, like all kinds of things. That's honestly what makes Joe, I think, so captivating, is that he has people from all walks of life.
Interesting conversations.
Yeah. And so you get to hear different angles and different opinions and stuff like that.
Which is good. How can you not like that? Go on.
Yeah,
John.
It's true.
So,
let Doc finish.
The thing I think is really weird is just that like they go for this, but they don't go for the guy who thinks like we're descendants of fish or something like that. You know what I mean? Like that would like one. The. No, I'm being.
Oh, okay.
I'm exaggerating.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But like that's what I'm saying. Like that is an attack for misinformation. It's just because of this stuff. Because it's just the current hot topic, and it would be interesting actually to see if what this doctor was saying in the future ends up being true, because then the amount of anguish that I think like Twitter and social media companies are going to get is going to be groundbreaking, and I think they're going to have to do like a huge shift in their policies and stuff and the way they kind of handle information within their companies. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen in the future with that, just because of I really think if this guy ends up being right, as the 17,000 doctor report says, we'll only know in years to come. But there's going to be huge tectonic shifts when that happens.
Well, I say, man, I'm trying to wait to see all this stuff. I'm chilling.
May I ask a question?
And now that I got natural immunity, I'm even more chilling.
Can I ask you a question?
Go for it.
So Dr. Malone said that hospitals are what?
He was bringing to light about, like we talked about last time, how hospitals get more funding when they check the, like you said, literally what you said, check the box off. If it's just a simple checking the box of if they had COVID or not, if they checked it, they get more money. They're basically influenced or incentivized to, and even the CDC came out and said that these numbers aren't correct.
Now, Doc, you said you refused to believe that evil existed.
I don't think he said that, but go on. Maybe I maybe I don't remember it then.
He said he's hoping that there's some error in why. Remember, because the numbers came down. The numbers came down to like 20-something%.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, "Oh, I'm hoping that it was an error, a clerical error type thing, instead of people actually just saying that everything is COVID just to make it go past."
Try to give it more credence so it was just a simple mistake rather than something
Yeah.
malicious.
I'm sorry, Doc. You got to give up a little bit of that faith in humanity today.
Yeah, bro. I'll do it just because you're being childish.
You got to give it up, man. People out here trying to get that money. It's about the money. They get paid extra. So now what happens? You think they get a refund?
No.
I don't know, bro. It's misinformation. Didn't you read the article?
Like, are we going to audit the hospitals?
If we do, you really think they're going to?
Like, where do we go from here?
That's a good question. Honestly, I really don't have an answer for you. I just think
the biggest fraud that's ever happened in this country. Just okay.
Yeah,
that's wild.
Anything else you want to talk? I just wanted to point out the hypocrisy, I guess, and the parallels and all that stuff, and it's just like I thought it was hilarious.
Yo, thanks for making it to the end. We really appreciate it and hope you all enjoyed the show.
Make sure you hit that subscribe button, that like button, and the notification bell to get notified when we post our clips.
Follow us on Twitter at PodcastFDT. Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok are all fake deep thinking. Check us out, please.
FDT. Peace, y'all.
Peace.